afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Argentina for the opening round of MXGP, the FIM Motocross World Championship, where we make a return to the Garden of Patagonia. This is the MXGP of Patagonia, Argentina. My name is Paul Malin, and welcome to MXGP TV as well, where we will be showing every race, every second, every weekend live on our platform here. I'll be trackside at all the venues, as always. MX2 Race 1 is about to get underway, all 30 minutes plus 2 laps of it. It's the 5th year in a row that we've headed to this part of the world, beautiful part of the world as well, just outside the town of Villa Langostura, or Villa Langostura as they pronounce it here in these parts. We're in the Nahuel Huapi National Park. Beautiful surroundings, lakes, mountains, forests, all of that. And it's the second consecutive year that we've played host to the opening round of the championship here at Neuquén. So strap yourselves in. It's going to be a fantastic season opener. If anything, if the qualifying races from yesterday are anything to go by, considerably cooler than yesterday as well. It was around 28, 29 yesterday. We've got serious cloud cover. I just nipped out of our TV booth a few moments ago. It's just started to drizzle. So Dr. Izzle is in the house at the moment. And but it won't do anything to dampen the spirits of the racetrack here. It's volcanic ash, it's deep, it's loamy, but it's also hard and crusty underneath. So it really is a mental challenge for the riders and a physical one as well, because it's quite a high-speed natured racetrack. And so it has quite a few different aspects to keep the riders on their toes. Fans are packed in over on that left side before the, or along the whole of the wave section. Just a few corners into the lap. They'll get the perfect view as well, because the start straight is over to our right as we look at it, so bang across from where they are. But here's our GoPro track preview. Just strap yourselves in, take a look at this. Why the riders like this Neuquén circuit so much. So let's take a look at one of the more fun elements on this racetrack. As the riders head out of turn 2, they're immediately on the gas and through this sweeping right-hander. When they hit the first uphill jump here, the bike automatically compresses at the back end, and the riders just float over this first single jump into what is almost like a gravity cavity the other side, get on the gas, hit the next jump, another floater. It's spectacular, the riders love it, but on the first lap it's high speed and a lot of action goes on here at the start of the race. Just a couple of corners on from those first few jumps, then we're into this wave section here. As you can see, the left-hander, the approach into this wave section, you've got an outside line where the riders can hopefully double the first two and continue that through as a double-double situation towards the Monster Energy jump behind me. But in the years gone by, they've gone inside. It's normally the shortest route in terms of these waves are a lot closer together. But if you don't get on the gas and don't get the right drive coming out of that turn, this section here can cause all kinds of problems for you. And in the past, people like Jeremy Van Hoorbeek and Jorge Prado have been caught out here. Will this part of the racetrack cause problems again this weekend? You'll have to wait and find out, but in the meantime, enjoying the rest of the GoPro lap here from Neuquén. MX2 World Champion Jorge Prado showing us around this Neuquén circuit here in Patagonia. Right, a few moments ago, Lisa Leyland was down on the grid. She caught up with a couple of riders. One of those for us from F&H Racing Kawasaki, the number 29 of Henry Jacobi. But before that, she caught up with the defending champion Jorge Prado from Red Bull KTM.
Hello and welcome to the very first race of the 2019 MXGP season. We're here in Argentina. We've waited all winter for this moment, so I'm going to grab a few words with our reigning MX2 world champion, Jorge Prado. Jorge, firstly, let's just think about last year. Your closest challenger was Boris Jonas. He's moved up to the MXGP category. Firstly, who do you think is going to be your closest challenger this year? And tell us, what's it feel like now to be defending that world title?
Well, I don't know. We will see later on. I think, in the first race, everybody's coming on fire. And honestly, this track, it's difficult to make difference. So we will see. The season is long, and for sure we have still a lot of good riders in the gate. So we still need to work hard and do our best while we are at the track. And yeah, this season it's looking good. I've been working hard this off season, so hopefully we can repeat the season like last year.
Yeah. Tell us what happened yesterday in qualifying race. Great start as always. How did it unfold for you?
Yeah, I had a good start. It was very important because today will be also important for the race. And then after that, I made a small gap. Then didn't know why I wasn't taking a lead, like getting a gap. So I was doing some different lines, so I just dropped back a little bit to see and follow them how they were riding. And then I've been a bit too late. 3 laps ago I started pushing, and I passed Jacobi in the last lap, but I also was a bit farther. Yeah, and looking forward for today. Today's racing track is challenging, and we will see.
Have a good one. Thank you. Okay, time now to speak to one of the main protagonists from yesterday, is Henry Jacobi from F&H Racing. Henry, the best qualifying race result you've ever had was yesterday. You were up there battling with Jorge. How was it from your seat?
Yeah, I got a good start, and actually this was the main thing what I needed to focus on, and I got in a good rhythm to actually follow Jorge for the whole race, and actually we swapped a little bit positions in the beginning, and he had the better end, and yeah, let's see. Today I'm also good with third, and let's see.
Tell us about your winter. New team, new bike, a lot of changes for you, new trainer. How's the transition been, and how are you feeling coming into this season?
Yeah, it's everything is quite new. So I have a new trainer, I have a new team. So we're really professional now. We had a good winter also with Mark, my trainer, and the bike is good. Mark is good, and I think I'm also quite good. So we can make a good season, I think.
Okay, well, good luck for this race and the rest of the year. Thank you. Okay, good luck to all the guys. It's time for the very first race of the 2019 season, MX2 Race 1.
Looks like Lisa got the giggles there at the end of that pre-grid interview with Henry Jacobi. Shortly after that, riders headed out on track for their sighting lap. Of course, they are now back in the pen, ready to go to the line. For the first time this year, 30 minutes plus 2 laps. MX2 Race 1 is just moments away. Fantastic crowd in the house here, as always, and the sun is starting to come out on that side. From my commentary position here, a little bit cloudy over the lakes here, but you'd expect that in the mountainous region. But this is where we are, 19 rounds, the FIA Motocross World Championship in 2019. Of course, we'll go to China and Hong Kong during the season as well. MXGP making a bit more history. Never been to those parts before, so we all look forward to that. But here we are in Argentina. Couple of weeks' time, we go to Matterley Basin for round 2, and from my memory, that's probably the earliest that the MXGP of GB has ever taken place. Normally that's a July, August kind of venue, but hopefully the weather holds off there. I'm sure it works, but actually beautiful in Europe at the moment. But if you missed the action yesterday from the qualifying races, here's what happened in the MX2 qualifying race Saturday afternoon. The gate dropped, and it was charged for the first turn. Watson made a good start on his Monster Khmer Yamaha, tucked in just behind Jacobi, but then he made a couple of mistakes through the exit of the turn, look, and Calvin Verlainen for Team HRC almost ran into the back of him. It was Jorge Prado and his teammate Tom Vial who led the way, though, as Watson here found himself in the thick of the action in around about 8th, 9th place, sandwiched between the Husqvarna number 11 of Mikkel Harup and the 19 of Thomas Kjær Olsen on the Rockstar Energy Husky. End of the first lap, though, Prado thought about disappearing, but his teammate was going with him, and Jacoby was hanging on in there in third. So too was Alvin Osland on the 161, Revo Husqvarna, but he got caught and passed quite early on by Thomas Olsen on the number 19, as Adam Sterry and Jago Geerts duked it out as well, just a couple of places further behind inside the top 10. Vial then fell from second position, handing that place to the German, Jacoby, and with him was Thomas Olsen, and they shadowed Jorge Prado for much of the race as Watson made his move on Vial. Vial responded immediately, but then that position was eventually clawed back by the Brit. He then went after his teammate Jago Geerts, and the Monster Energy Khmer Yamahas were line astern, but Jago Geerts actually just had one or two little visibility issues, pulled a tear off, and they all came off at once, so he was struggling for visibility in the second half of the race. Around about halfway, though, Henry Jacoby found himself challenging and finding a way past on several occasions, actually, the defending champion. Fans were on their feet. They loved every moment of it. Jacoby led. He was quickly passed back by Prado, but then as he disappeared, Thomas Olsen, with about 4 minutes to go, made his way past the 61 as well and pushed the KTM rider into third. With clear track ahead of him, he went after Jacoby, and at the second time of asking, the Dane made a decisive move over on the backside of the circuit, took over the lead, and on the final lap, this happened. Jacoby got nudged off the side of the track as a decisive manoeuvre from Prado meant that he stole second on the final lap, but it was a first qualifying win since Latvia 2017 for Thomas Kjær-Olsen. The riders making their way to the line then for MX2 Race 1. And as you already know, Thomas Olsen goes to the line first for the first time since early 2017. Guess what? He also won that GP. Let's not forget. So is that a sign of things to come here? Well, we'll have to wait and find out, won't we? Jorge Prado came home second. Henry Jacoby, with his best ever qualifying in MX2, was third. Ben Watson fourth. Calvin Villana in fifth. Mitch Evans of Australia worked from outside of the top 15 for the Honda 114 Motorsports team. Got himself into sixth. If he gets a good start, is he going to be a dark horse and ruffle a few MX2 feathers? Adam Sterry was seventh. Alvin Osland 8th. Conrad Muse again outside of the top 20, 25 on the opening lap. Battled on to get 9th, and Jago Geerts 10th. Tom Vial recovered for 11th after a fall early on. Then we had David Puches, Mikkel Harup, Ika Laranaga, Michele Chervin, Bas Vassen, Maxime Renault. There's your pole man for the first time this year. And then Gustavo Pessoa, Brent Van Donnick, and Matthijs Borromé, your top 20. You've already seen the list as well. Sun looking like it's about to come out here. Jorge Prado lines up in his position. Looking like over on the far side there. It's where most of the riders are going to be heading out of those gates. But there is Henry Jacoby. Good qualifying, looked strong, looked comfortable as well. Heard from him from the pre-grid interview with Lisa Leyland a few moments ago. New bike, new team, new trainer, working well with Mark Daruba, his trainer over there in the Netherlands. Up sticks from Germany. There's Ben Watson, the Khmer Yamaha rider, the Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha rider, number 919, of course. Won the final pre-season international race in France just a week ago, so he's coming here with a little bit of confidence packed in his overhead luggage. Looks like all the riders are almost on the gate, actually just two more. Fans on their feet, get ready for the first serious race of 2019. Calvin Villana in gate 1, look, Watson gate 2, Olsen 3, Jacoby 4. Minutes plus 2. Right, Mr. Ringo Parch, our FIM race director, gives the green flag. The Fly Racing 15-second board goes up for the first time in 2019. Who's your money on? Well, is it too early to say? It all comes down to the starts. Of course, the foxhole shot specialist last year was Jorge Prado. He picked up 26 of those en route to winning the championship last year. What's he going to do this year in race 1? Gate drops over on the vice. Oh, and Thomas Kjær-Olsen spins up on the painted mesh. And it's Vial who hits the line first. He grabs the first foxhole shot of the year. His teammate Prado just behind him. Jacoby, I think, is right there in third place. Certainly one of the FNH riders. It is Jacoby. And then I think we might have one of the locals, actually, one of the wild cards there in fourth, if that's the case. But Prado or Geertz or Watson getting a good jump, and it looks like it's Geertz actually from the riding style. He is in light blue over on the inside, but it's Vial who leads. Prado second, and Geertz up into third. A decisive move on Jacoby before the end of the wave section, but Jacoby fighting right back into third on that green Kawasaki. So Geertz fourth, Sterry 8-11 in fifth. So the two Kawasaki's are right there. Oh, it's Mitch Evans actually, different colourway to what he wore yesterday. So Mitch Evans right up there in about fifth or sixth position in the yellow in this turn. Now number 43 has got Verlanderen right there, Watson right there behind him as well. Man down at the top of the hill, and it's Michele Cherblin 747. So the Yamaha SM Action MC Migliori rider goes down around the tree, a difficult corner, uphill, downhill, very slow through that turn. Oh, man down on the other side. That's what I said, is that Cherblin again? I don't think it was though, but that's the big tabletop in the middle of the circuit. So Prado now leads, Vial second. Getting ready to come over the line for the first time here. Not the first official full lap though, but the 61, who was quickest in the warm-up session this morning. He looks like he's bringing his A game here. Maybe just riding a little tight and tense yesterday. Maybe even though he's not riding the number one plate on that Red Bull KTM, the weight of expectation coming in as a defending champion maybe just took its toll a little bit yesterday, but he's leading the way here by about a second and a half over his teammate Tom Vial, who did this yesterday as well. The first three the same as they were in the early stages of qualifying on Saturday. Prado, Vial and Jacoby on that green Kawasaki. Just behind them, Jago Geertz, Monstrengi Khmer Yamaha rider. Verlanderen 5 for HRC. Mitch Evans, Honda 114 Motorsports is 6. Sterry 7. Watson 8. Olsen recovering well after spinning up on the start gate is in 9. Davy Puches for Diga Procross Husqvarna is 10. Ika Laranaga on the Marchetti Racing Team KTM is in 11th place. They have Dylan Walsh for Revo Husqvarna. Then we've got Bas Bassen. He's the lead Hitachi KTM UK rider, fueled by Milwaukee. In 13th place, Gustavo Pessoa for Biking DRT Kawasaki. Then Conrad Muse, Brent Van Donnick on the Honda Red Motor Asa Motor Machine. Alvin Oslin, Richard Sakina, Zach Pichon, Darian Sanai, a little bit ring rusty, having spent most of the off-season recovering from knee surgery. Here's Jacoby giving chase to the young teenager, the rookie in the class, the rider who finished, who rode European 250 Championship last year, Tom Vial. He's taken this Red Bull opportunity with both hands. Right, that was Sterry just in the background on the Kawasaki, just behind Evans. Evans was just a little bit offline there, the number 43 for Honda 114. Prado sets the fastest lap of the race at 43.9, almost a full second quicker than Tom Vial and Jacoby. 45 for Jago Geertz. Evans riding defensive as Thomas Olsen, the second rider in shot now on that white Husqvarna in the yellow and black clothing, up on the pegs, using that full leg range movement just to try and help the back end track over those high speed choppy bumps through that sweeping turn 2. Evans up on the pegs, bringing every ounce of power out of that Honda 114 machine. Meanwhile, Prado disappearing at the end of the straight, look, leaving his teammate to fend off the challenge of Henry Jacoby. Harrop in 21st place, just looking down our leaderboard. Oh, a bit of a kick there from Jacoby. Just overshot the landing on that city jump as well by about a bike length as he got pitched again, but a couple of nice floaters on this part of the circuit, and then you got that big iPhone tabletop jump over in the middle there. Then they swing through that next left. It's slightly banked. It used to be more cupped to the outside there, but it's just a little bit flatter in its profile now in that left-hander. Normally you can single, triple into that right here, but the ground a lot softer, the riders were saying. There's still a crust underneath, but here's Jacoby. Oh, he gets squeezed to the inside, and Vial panicked there, and he overshot the turn at the top of the hill. But Jacoby might just run him wide. He does, even though he held a nice tight line. A little bit of scaremongery going on there from the number 29 German. He now has clear track to go after Jorge Prado. The gap is about 3 seconds, and it's another fastest lap of the race for Prado, a 43.9. 44.5 for Jacoby, 45.4 for Tom Vial. And I was talking to Joel Smets, actually, his team trainer down there this morning. Just asked him about the qualifying race. Yeah, it was just a small mistake. Asked him how he thought it might go in terms of the racing. He said, at this moment, not expecting him to, you know, be 100% fit on the 2 35-minute motos, but if he can get one good race out of the way, then that'll be great. But obviously, when you make such a good start like Tom Vial has, that is a lot of the work done. Even if he starts to fade mid-distance, you know, he's still going to finish inside the top 10. That's going to be a pretty impressive debut for him. Here's Calvin Valandra, number 10, Team HRC. He's just found his way past Jago Geerts, so Geerts now on the Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha in blue gets pushed down into 5th place. As Valandra finds himself advancing further forward. He does not want the likes of Prado, Jacoby and Vial to get too far ahead. Olsen still hasn't found his way past Mitch Evans, who had a fantastic ride in qualifying yesterday, but he goes tight. Thomas Olsen might just get the slingshot and run him around the outside here down this next long straight. And he does just that, puts the squeeze on the Aussie. Looks over his shoulder as well, wonders who's next, but he's got a little bit of breathing space. Has the 43 before Adam Sterry and Ben Watson make their way through. David Pooch is just behind them as well, and Conrad Muse, Dylan Walsh, Ika Laranaga, and Gustavo Pessoa all giving chase as well to the Aussie. 3 laps down, 22 minutes plus 2 laps to go. MX2 Race 1, the first major race of the season, the one for points. You can't win the championship here this weekend, you can certainly lose it. But Jorge Prado now 3.5 seconds clear of Henry Jacoby. There's Tom Vial in 3rd. How long can he hold off Calvin Valandra? Valandra, of course, picked up a handful of podiums, including the Grand Prix win in Indonesia last year. So he knows what it's like to win races. He knows what it's like to stand on the top step of the podium. And he'll be using all of that experience and knowledge to get through this round here and hopefully end the day on the box as well. But it's quite a stacked field in MX2 this year. Right, here's Olsen. Still hasn't found his way past Jago Geerts. He's pushing though. But the young Belgian, who this year enters MX2 as a true professional rider. Last year he was in school till the summer. He's had a good hard winter working with Steve Ramon, former world champion of course. Nails that berm in the penultimate corner. Watson all over the back of Adam Sterry as he goes past our commentary position as well. Are we going to see just at the end of the straight here Watson find his way past the Welshman Sterry? Just going into the first corner, just from that camera angle you can see Sterry still holding the advantage on his F&H Kawasaki in that 8th place. But it's Prado who leads, 4.5 seconds clear now of Jacoby. Vial 3rd, Valandra in 4th, Geerts here in blue in 5th place. Olsen all over the back of him in 6th. He goes to the inside. Is he going to take away the line from Jago Geerts? I think he's found a way through. They're side by side down the wave section. And Olsen does go through. He's still got some work to do. He's got to make around the outside. Makes the pass stick. So Olsen then up into 5th place. Goes after Calvin Valandra and ahead of him in red. Jago Geerts didn't look his normal self yesterday. Wasn't fluid, wasn't flowing in the free practice and time practice sessions. Mitch Evans still 7, Adam Sterry 8, Ben Watson 9, David Pooch is 10, Conrad Muse is 11, 12th is Dylan Walsh. 13, Ika Larinaga. 14, Bas Varsen. 15, Gustavo Pessoa. 16, Brent Van Donnick. 17 is Albin Osland. 18 is Darian Sinai, Richard Sakina and Zach Pichon rounding out the top 20. And we've got Michele Chervelin, who fell on the opening lap, is only down there in 21st place. Matej Borame in 23rd. Mikael Horup in 24th position, so he must have gone down on the opening lap as well. And Maxime Renault hasn't completed a lap. So the 959, former European Championship rider Maxime Renault for Yamaha SM Action MC Migliori Yamaha, not on the board and not completing a lap, along with Luciano Righi. So maybe those two came together. TKO though, he won the qualifying race yesterday by riding the perfect race. He sat there in third, he bided his time, he sat there all nice and patient. All of a sudden we've got a three-way battle for third here, and it involves Thomas Olsen once more. Here he is, getting ready to go by Valandren for HRC, ahead of him in red. Valandren goes to the inside, Olsen goes to the outside. It really is one of those circuits where you can set somebody up, and if they go to the outside, you can react, go to the inside, make a pass. And if they go too defensive, you might just get that momentum around the outside just to make the pass stick. Not immediately, but maybe further down the straight. We saw it when he found his way past, I think it was Jago Kietz, wasn't it, just a short while ago, or even Mitch Evans at the end of this part of the racetrack here. So he's getting lined up, ready to go past Valandren again, in the same way that he found his way past Evans, utilising that on-off section, and he does it again to perfection. Jumps to the outside to thwart the challenge from Valandren. Wow, impressive ride this from Thomas Olsen. Still got just under 18 minutes plus 2 to go. He's got the rookie ahead of him, Tom Vial. And the 29 of Jacoby. Jacoby, actually, I thought would have pulled a little bit further clearer of Tom Vial, who looks like he's gone tight and defensive, and he might get caught out at the end of the straight as a result of it. Soon find out, because Olsen will have a good line, the right line, coming into this right-hander, and he does. He cuts back immediately to the inside. Vial will know that he's there. An easy pass in the end for the number 19, who now moves up into third place. Haven't heard too much in the way of riders saying it's difficult to pass or it's one line, but if they were saying that, Thomas Olsen proving the opposite is true. He's just got his head down. Not worried about too much what else is going on around him, but he's just picking the riders off, he's catching them, going by them, moving on to the next one. And here he is now up into third. Valandren still there in fifth place for HRC. Tom Vial doing a great job of keeping Valandren back though. Look at that line there that Olsen uses so well. He goes on-off, but then he goes around the outside of that kicker in the inside there in the background, whereas everyone else goes on off and then goes to the inside, and he's able to utilize that power around the outside and set himself up in the next right-hander. 7 laps down. Prado almost 9 seconds clear of Jacoby on the Red Bull KTM then. The defending champion looking a lot more comfortable, not a little more, a lot more comfortable than he did yesterday in qualifying. Track had a little bit of prep work on it overnight just to fluff up some of the holes. Fixed all the jumps, put some more water down. Valandren would have seen Olsen go through here a lap ago on Vial, and he repeats the move as well. And he's still got Olsen just there ahead of him. He has to go to the outside though, just to make sure that Vial stays back there. But Vial, look at him responding here. He's going to get squeezed towards the edge of the jump though. Nowhere through for the young Frenchman unless he cuts back to the inside here. Right, Valandren can take a breath and go again after Olsen. Give you a quick rundown then of the top 10. Prado leads, Jacoby second, Olsen third, Valandren here in red, in front of your shot, number 10. He's now in fourth. The guy behind him on the orange Red Bull KTM is in fifth place. Jago Kietz for Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha is sixth, ahead of the Honda 114 Motorsports rider Mitch Evans, Adam Sterry for F&H, Ben Watson, David Puches for Diga Procross, Husqvarna. Then we've got Muse on the Hitachi KTM UK machine, fueled by Milwaukee. He's found his way past his teammate. So too, I think, is Dylan Walsh. So Walsh now 12 for Revo, Husqvarna, and Fassen right there in 13th position ahead of Gustavo Passaro on the bike in the RT Cowie, and Brent Van Donnick for Honda Red Motor, Asa Motor. But 8 laps in the books. Jago Kietz joining the party as well, as he looks to go past the number 28 of Tom Vial. I think KTM will be pleased with the way that Vial has performed so far this weekend. His first ever MX2 Grand Prix. Got off to a good start in the qualifying race yesterday, sat there second for a couple of laps. That would have given him a nice little bit of confidence to think, well, you know what, I can do this. And a good start here in race 1. Sees him still there in 5th position. 13.5 minutes plus 2 to go. Back end getting a little bit loose on that Yamaha of his. So as he comes out of that right-hander, went in too deep. It swapped up on the crest there. But look at Olsen, definitely getting his teeth into the F&H Kawasaki ahead of him here. Number 29, we've got a back marker ahead. Jacoby triples in. Back marker runs wide. Right, Olsen getting ready for an attack at the end of the straight. This has been one of his moves. You watch him, he goes on off, he switches to the outside and then cuts to the inside. Oh, and I tell you what, he got right in there. He fancied taking a chunk out of Jacoby. Jacoby gives him too much room here at the end of the straight though. Jacoby hanging on just as Olsen now has to figure out plan B. Where else can I make a move on this tenacious German? 707 of Matteo Biarzi moves out of the way just about before he got collected by the 19 of Olsen there. Wasn't a lot of room in that. Right, wasn't clean over there, Olsen. Got on top, bounced off again. He could have done with just floating over that first one. Oh, heavy landing there as well. That messes up his approach into this right-hander. Right, goes to the inside, gets the power down early, and does he make a move here? Yeah, he takes the line immediately, but Jacoby, I'll tell you what, that was close there because, and Olsen knew that because he got a little bit sideways and Jacoby was on the gas, and had he not backed off at the end of the straight there, those two could have gone ploughing into the face of that tabletop jump at the end of the straight. It could have all ended in curtains. But Olsen now up into second. The gap between him and Prado as they came over the line at the end of lap 9 was 11.4 seconds. And he was only 3 or 2 tenths slower than the race leader, whilst finding his way past Jacoby for that second position. So now that he's got clear track, actually, are we going to see Olsen start to eat into that lead? Here's Vial. Chucks up a little bit of roost off the rear wheel into the face of Jago Kietz, whose roll-off cord actually broke yesterday in the qualifying race. See, he's still running roll-offs here as well. So it wasn't the tear-offs, it was the roll-offs that broke early on. So he was just struggling for visibility, but nice, just bounces in there and floats over there. But Evans is not done either. Mitch Evans, number 43. There he is in the fluorescent colours, riding for Livy Lancelo's Honda 114 Motorsports team. He is hanging in there. He's looking for a top 5 position here on his MX2 debut. But here's Thomas Olsen. The story of Olsen's race so far, down the inside of Jago Kietz. That put him into 5th place. around the outside of Calvin Volanderen, got him into 4th. Then Pascal for 3rd. And then Jacobi for 2nd, just a moment to go. And he's starting to pull clear of the 29. It's looking a little bit loose though, isn't he? Using all of the racetrack. But Prado has 13 seconds over Olsen. It was a 43.4. Olsen was a 45.1, so it wasn't a clean lap then once he got through in a second. Looking like he's just riding a little bit over the edge just to try and make up for that lost time. Right, Volanderen buries his Honda deep into that right, then the left, gets on the gas. 9 minutes breathe, that's the message for Olsen from his crew down there in pit lane. 14.5 seconds, another good lap from Prado. So all of a sudden the defending champ has got this one pretty much in the bag, barring any mistakes, of course. There's Jago Geerts. Still hasn't shaken off Mitch Evans and his teammate Watson right there with Adam Sterry. So Watson up into 8th, finding his way past Sterry in the last couple of laps. Pooch is still there in 10th, Muse 11, Walsh 12, Pessoa 13, Van Donnik is 14, 15 Sinai, Osland 16, 17 is Larinaga. We've got Vassen, Sakina and Chervelin. Chervelin just finding his way past Zach Pichon. So Evans then is looking a little bit tasty the second half of this race. Nothing wrong with his fitness or his desire to get towards the front here. Quietly spoken, Australian from over on the East Coast. Showing us exactly what he can do out on the racetrack here when the gate drops and he gets the helmet and goggles on. Right, there's Jacobi. Out on his own in 3rd, it would appear. Because there's Olsen going in the opposite direction. Still pretty impressive opener for the number 29 of Henry Jacobi. Finished 10th in the championship last year, of course, did the German when he was Husky Mounted. Got on the podium. Trentino, 3rd overall that day on what was his only podium visit. First in his MX2 career as well. Helped, no doubt, by that 2nd in race 1 that day. Right, Evans, 6.5 to go. He is now the 2nd rider in shot on that red Honda, those fluorescent colours on his race shirt. He's got Jago Geerts just ahead of him in 6th position on that Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha, but for how much longer? Because he gets around the outside of the young Belgian here. Just use that momentum, but Geerts responds and backmarker almost got involved there. So great riding there from Mitch Evans, who now moves up into 6th place with about 6 minutes to go. Blue flag's being waved. You'll see another rider in blue. That's Watson in the background, number 919. Didn't make the best start, but nor too did Olsen, who spun up on the gate. So he's had to dig real deep to get himself up into 2nd. 16 seconds down now on Prado, by the way. Olsen, who just goes over the line about 3 seconds clear of Jacobi. Then we've got Volanderen 4, Vial 5, Evans now 6, and then the 2 Khmer boys 7 and 8 with Geerts and Watson just behind him. So Watson here giving chase now to his teammate there in blue, Jago Geerts. He's looked pretty good actually, Watson, all weekend. Fast in, what was it, like 2nd or 3rd fastest in free practice and time training, so maybe just one or two little nerves before the first real race of the season, but everybody suffering that. Prado just suffered in the qualifying race yesterday, but he's definitely brought his A game here today, hasn't he? Oh, man down, and it's hit. Just loses the front end. And Marshall should be waving those yellows there, and that bike is going to get landed on if he's not careful, then destroyed. He's the wrong side of the jump there. Wow, the adrenaline will definitely be pumping through his veins as he tries to recover that bike. Watch this here, just comes through the turn. Oh, he just got it wrong there, look, cased, and then slid out. Watson did well to jump over him. So too did Sterry, but somebody just caught the back of the bike there as he came into land. Geert down to 11th then, probably. So that will give an advantage to Watson, Sterry, Puches, and Muse. Might have been Muse actually that landed on the bike, possibly. So Ben Watson, clear track then, hasn't got to worry about finding a way past his teammate, but he's only got 4 minutes plus 2 laps to go in this first MX2 race here, the number 919 on screen now. Here's your race leader, Jorge Prado, almost 16 seconds clear, looking very good, dancing his way around this Neuquén circuit here in Patagonia, just outside of Villa Langostura. There's the guy who he is almost 16 seconds clear of, Thomas Olsen. See the different line choices there. Wider, tighter, and then different exit point. Back marker here. The guy behind him in green is your man in third. That's Jacoby for F&H Racing. Comes into land. Knows he's got to find his way around that back marker. The Landron is still there though, lurking dangerously in 4th place. So Jacoby can't afford himself the luxury of cruising to the line for a potential 3rd place finish here in the season opener. Where's Vial, actually? Vial and Evans, they look like they might be locked together in the background there. So Vial having a fantastic debut in 5th place. But he was about a second slower than Mitch Evans, and they were 2 seconds apart as they hit the line at the end of lap 14. So are we going to see a change in the top 5 with Evans finding his way past the young Frenchman? Here is Valandren, just behind them is Vial and Evans, and I think that is the battle we might need to focus on in a moment. Just behind Valandren here. Coming into turn 1 now. Just have a look, no. So Valandren up on the pegs then, giving chase to the German. But just behind him, that gap still, well, it's about 1.5 seconds now between Vial and Evans. Evans still quicker by about 4/10. And there is the gap, just behind them. Just here, there goes Evans, just out of shot now. That's the back marker. So Evans in the wave section, just ahead of Watson here in blue. So as they hit the Monster Energy tabletop jump, there you see Vial, and just behind him here, Mitch Evans. So this is going to be the fight to the end for 5th position between the young French teenager and Evans. He's had to work hard on that Honda 114 Motorsports machine. How far are they behind? It's going to be 3 laps to go because there is 40 seconds on the clock, and Prado making his way into the final corner now. So 3 to go. That gives Evans just a little bit of breathing space. I'm sure Vial, the lead rider in shot here in 5th place for Red Bull KTM, I'm sure he will be mindful of the fact that he's being closed down on, and his team will be doing everything they can to just keep him inside that top 5. So we've got a couple of different battles going on. Olsen on his own in 2nd. And I tell you what, I think we're on borrowed time here. Evans is all over the back of Vial as they come over the finish line here for the start of lap 16, at the end of lap 16. And here is that battle. So Evans then in 6th, number 43, looking to find his way past the young French teenager, Tom Vial. Fitness might just be starting to play a part. The more experience of the Australian champion, Mitch Evans, just starting to chip away at the relative inexperience and the youth of Vial, who hasn't been on the scene that long actually. And there is Evans, a decisive move to the inside through the waves. So Vial gets pushed down to 6th place then. Great ride from Evans. And Watson closing in on the KTM as well. So they'll hit the 2-lap board this time around. Can Evans hang on to 5th, or are we going to see Watson find his way past both Vial and Evans in the closing stages of this race? Different lines there. Watson just been a little bit more efficient. No braking bumps down the inside into that left-hander, but 2 to go. And there's your number 61, Jorge Prado, looking to get off to a winning start here in 2019. Olsen yet to get over the line. Olsen any moment now, I would imagine. So what's the gap? 17, 18 seconds actually. Then we've got Jacoby. He'll be going through, but Watson, I fear, is going to find his way, and actually right in front of our commentary position. Sides his way up the inside of Vial. So Prado leads, Olsen 2nd, Jacoby 3rd, Milana in 4th, Evans in 5th place as Jacoby about to find his way past the back marker here in 3rd place. Milana is 4th, Evans 5th, Watson up to 6th. And he was only about 4/10 quicker than the Australian that time around. So that might be the one to watch on this penultimate lap. The battle between Watson and Evans. Because Jacoby out on his own, he's got no threat from behind with Valandren. But Evans is definitely being caught by Watson. Just a couple of riders behind Jacoby here. Look in that far corner there. There's Evans in the middle of the turn. And then you've got Watson. So coming in to land over the city jump. Here's Evans, 43, in the fluorescent colours, and then the blue of Watson. This is the battle for 5th place. Just over a lap to go. Rails the berm, does Watson. Back marker maybe forces Evans a little bit wider than he would have otherwise chosen to go. But then Watson gets him right where he doesn't want him as well. So Watson transfers, a little long there on the landing for the Brit. Again, a back marker and a good response this actually from Evans. So Mitch Evans gets another back marker between himself and Watson. So entering the final lap then, it looks like Evans can maybe just hold on to this top 5 place here on what is an MX2 debut performance for the Honda 114 Motorsports rider. Prado, 16.5 seconds clear of Olsen. He is backed off slightly as he enters his final lap. Jacoby is 3rd, Milana in 4th, Evans there, man coming towards us here, he's in 5th place. The guy behind him in blue for the Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha squad is Ben Watson, and Tom Vial, fantastic ride for him. He's got 5 seconds in hand over Adam Sterry. He can't afford to switch off because Sterry will pounce from that 8th place. 9 for Conrad Muse, 10 David Porches, 11 is Jago Kietz, Dylan Walsh 12, Sinai 13, Osland 14, Vassen 15, Pessoa is 16, Van Donnick, Chervelin, Sakina and Pichon. There your top 20 as it stands at the moment. But I think Zach Pichon and Mikael Harup are having their own little battle for that final World Championship point here in the first race of the season. Here's Jorge Prado though, just dancing to his own tune. Once more. Looks comfortable. And Jorge Prado, who took 12 race wins last year, comes over the line and wins the opener. Sorry, 17 race wins last year, but wins the opener here in Argentina and just stands up on the pegs, wonders what all the fuss is about. Thomas Olsen getting ready to come through in second. Goes over the line now. There he is, the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider. Jacoby will be third. Valandren should be fourth. He is, and I think Evans does just hang on from Watson for fifth place. Watson crosses the line in sixth. And disconnected neck brace there. That would have been a nightmare situation. Or has he just undone it? I'm not sure. Actually, Jacoby. So Prado, your winner. Olsen second. Jacoby third. Valandren four. Evans five. Watson six. Vial, Sterry, Muse. And just coming into land there, Davy Puches in 10th place for Team Diga Procross Husqvarna. Just behind them, Jago Kietz eventually faded back to 11th, up to 12th on the final lap.
Okay, Prado, congratulations. Compared to yesterday, you looked a lot more like yourself out there. A very comfortable win from you. Tell us what's it like from your seat.
Yeah, actually got a good start. I got second by my teammate Tom. Did a great job on the start, and then I passed him very quick. That was my main goal, to, just have clear track and put in the laps, good laps. Felt good. Just work with train every day, so pretty happy about the race. Got pretty good flow out there, so hopefully we can do the same second moto.
Okay, best of luck for that. Thank you.
Not a bad way to get things up and running here in Argentina for Jorge Prado, the defending champion. Maybe felt a little pressured yesterday. Certainly didn't look as smooth or as efficient as he was in MX2 Race 1 today. And the number 61, the defending champ, gets off to a flying start. A winning start here at the MXGP of Patagonia, Argentina. He picks up the race win and 25 points for the first time of asking. Water going down on the track. Let's take a quick look then at the official classification. Jorge Prado, Red Bull KTM, your winner from Thomas Olsen for Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, the F&H Kawasaki of Jacoby, Calvin Valandren for Team HRC, Mitch Evans, Honda 114 Motorsport, Ben Watson for Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha, Tom Vial was 7, Sterry 8, Hughes 9 for Hitachi KTM UK, fueled by Milwaukee, Davy Puches for Team Diga Procross. Then we had Jago Kietz in 11, the Bike at DRT Kawasaki of Sinai in 12, Walsh was 13 for Revo Husqvarna, 14 Bas Varsen, 15 Alvin Osland, 16 Pessoa, the Honda Red Motor Asa Motor machine of Brent Van Donnick was 17, the Yamaha SM Action MC Migliori machine of Michele Chervlin was 18, Sakina was 19 for the JD Gunnix KTM Racing Squad, and Mikkel Harup Ice 1, the KTM, the Husqvarna squad, of course, run by Antti Perinen. A little bit of respite before the next race on the agenda, which is, of course, going to be MXGP Race 1. Who wants to see the highlights? Anyone? I do. Let's take a look at them. They're coming up right now. Gate dropped. And Olsen over on the far side spun up, and look how far back he was going into the first corner. That tells you how impressive his performance was. But he held a nice tight line there as a few riders ran wide, but he was still mid-pack coming through the first couple of corners. The first foxhole shot of the year, I think, went to Tom Vial. It wasn't long, though, before his teammate Prado was ahead of him. A good start for the 29 of Jacoby. Jago Kietz was in fourth. Fifth was, for a while, Calvin Valandren. And then Evans was in there in 6th, Sterry was 7, but then he got caught and passed quickly by Thomas Olsen, who had an outstanding first lap. Prado teeth in. The 29 of Jacoby was starting to make inroads as well. So too was Valandren. Jacoby up into second with that earlier move on Vial. Was in third, but he came under attack from Valandren, who was in that 4th place. Jago Kietz was hanging on in 5th, but not for much longer, because Thomas Olsen started to make moves. He made that particular pass on Jago Kietz to get himself into 5th, and then here around the outside of the number 10 to go 4th, that pass on Valandren. Then he made his move on Tom Vial to go 3rd. A lap later, Calvin Valandren also made the same move on Vial to get himself up into 4th place. Had to make a little bit more adjustments, though, to make that pass stick. But then Olsen down the inside of Jacoby this time before getting squeezed. Second time of asking over on the wave section, though, he did get himself into 2nd place. Closing stage of the race, Mitch Evans got, well, he just put his fitness and his experience to good use. Found his way past Hirtz, who then fell a lap later. He eventually came home in 11th position. But a couple of laps from then, Vial really struggling with fitness. Evans went through, so too did Ben Watson. Watson eventually came home in 6th behind Evans, but it was a win for Prado. Olsen was 2nd, Jacoby 3rd, Villana and Evans your top 5. Great way to kick things off here then. I think as we look down there from our camera position, MXGP riders just admiring and appreciating the calm before the storm. But let's take a look at the foxhole shot, shall we? And it was the number 28. Top of the hour, picking up the first foxhole shot of the year. Good to see the track crews just ripping a little bit more this racetrack here, because the ground is very soft, very loamy. All that does is just churns the track over a little bit more. Let's take a look at the best moments, though, from MX2 Race 1. Right, some of the best moments then from MX2 Race 1. Fans on their feet, maybe taking the odd beverage here or there, maybe the odd sausage sizzle, who knows. But we'll be back in just a couple of moments. When we return, it will be MXGP Race 1. We'll see you then.